Today's incident will awaken your soul, so I request you to watch it till the very end. In this world, we often hear about many miraculous and mysterious events. Among them, some incidents are so powerful that they shake the soul. Just like that, today I'm going to tell you such a story in this video. Today's video is going to be very important. It holds a special lesson. That's why I request you again, please don't skip. Watch till the very end. It was the holy month of Ramadan. The entire city was filled with devotion. The mosques were lit beautifully, and everyone was busy praying for forgiveness for their sins. But behind this sacred time, a darkness was growing, a sin that would shake everyone to their core. At the city's most renowned madrasa, Jamia Nurul Islam, there was a regular program after iftar, consisting of Quran recitation and lectures. Mawlana Tariq was considered the most respected and elderly teacher of this madrasas. His words would touch the hearts of the people. Many would cry just by listening to him. But behind that white beard and clean clothes, there was a hidden truth that would leave everyone shaken. In this madrasa, a 17-year-old girl named Hina studied. Her face clearly reflected her sincerity. Hina was always busy in remembrance of Allah, trying to memorize the Quran. But did she know? The Mawlana, whose words she listened to so intently, the one she looked up to with utmost respect. He had a different gaze towards her. Whether you're Hindu or Muslim, please do not skip the video. Watch till the end. Friends, before we begin the video, let's make a small prayer together. O Allah, protect us from sin and grant us Jannah. Everyone, type Ameen in the comments. And please give this video a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel right now. Our like target for this video is 10,000, so don't forget to hit that like button. Let's begin. It was the night of iftar. It was the 17th night of Ramadan. All the girls and students of the madrasa were busy with Taraweeh prayers after iftar. Mawlana Tariq called out to Hina, "Dear, come see me after my recitation. I think there are some issues in your tajweed." Hina lowered her head and softly replied, "Yes, Mawlana Sahab." But did she know that this was just an excuse? The Mawlana had a different intention. Hina, head down, slowly started walking toward the room where Mawlana Tariq had called her. That night was the 17th night of Ramadan. The entire madrasa was busy in Taraweeh prayers. What would happen to Hina's sincerity? She did not know. As Mawlana Tariq reached the door, Hina gently pushed it open. A voice came from inside. "Come in, dear." When Hina entered, Mawlana was sitting with the Quran open in front of him. There was a light fragrance in the air. Hina, with her head bowed, greeted him with salam. Mawlana Tariq smiled and said, "Masha Allah, you're such an obedient girl. I want to explain some important points about your tajweed." Hina sat down on the nearby sofa. Mawlana started flipping through a few pages of the Quran, slowly moving closer to Hina. Hina felt something strange, but she said nothing. There was an unusual shine in Mawlana's eyes. "My dear," he said, "in Ramadan, the reward for good deeds increases manifold. Strengthen your bond with Allah." Mawlana looked at Hina. She nodded and replied, "Yes, Mawlana Sahab." Suddenly, Mawlana Tariq held Hina's hand and said, "You are a very good girl, Hina. Your heart is very pure. Surely Allah is very pleased with you." Hina stood up from her seat. Her heartbeat began to pound loudly. She tried to free her hand, but Mawlana's grip was strong. "Dear, there are certain specific ways to attain closeness to Allah," Mawlana whispered. Fear began to clearly appear in Hina's eyes. She couldn't understand what was happening. Her soul trembled. Hina's breathing became fast. Her heartbeat was so rapid that she felt like the whole room was echoing with its sound. She tried to pull her wrist away, but Mawlana Tariq's grip was firm. "Maulana Sahab, what are you doing?" Her voice trembled. Maulana Tariq took a deep breath and smiled softly. "Dear, there are some special ways to reach Allah. Not everyone can access them. But you are special. Very special." Hina's face turned pale. She looked around. The room was small. No one could see her from the outside. She gathered courage and pulled her hand again. This time she freed herself from Maulana's grip. "I have to go." Hina stood up in fear. There were no visible wrinkles on Maulana Tariq's face, but there was a strange calmness in his eyes, as if he had done this before. He took a deep breath and said, "What's the hurry, girl? Sit down. I was about to tell you something very important." By now, Hina had realized something very wrong was happening. Alongside fear, she was filled with rage. She quickly moved toward the door. But then Maulana's voice stopped her. "If you tell anyone, the consequences will be very bad, Hina." She stopped and turned back. There was no gentleness left in Maulana's eyes, only a dangerous sharpness. "No one will believe you. Do you even know who I am? The entire madrasa respects me. People treat my words as law. If you accuse me, people will misunderstand you. Even your parents will suffer." Hina's eyes filled with tears. She felt like someone had stolen her voice. Maulana leaned back comfortably in his chair and smirked. "Now think carefully. What should you do? Think wisely, Hina." Hina's feet felt rooted to the ground. Would she remain silent or raise her voice against this cruelty? Her eyes were full of tears, but her heart was burning with rage. Maulana Tariq's words still echoed in her ears. "If you tell anyone, the consequences will be very bad." She stood trembling near the door. Her feet felt stuck. But then came the sound of the adhan from the madrasa mosque. "Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah." That sound was enough to wake her up. She immediately opened the door and ran outside. Maulana Tariq tried to stop her, but she quickly entered the corridor of the madrasa. Outside, the Taraweeh prayer was ongoing. Everyone was in prostration. Tears flowed from Hina's eyes. She went straight to her room and locked the door from inside. Fighting with herself, Hina looked at herself in the mirror. She couldn't believe what had just happened. "Maulana Sahab? That man?" she asked herself. Her soul screamed that she should tell someone. But who would listen? Maulana Tariq was not just any teacher. He was the most respected Maulana in the entire city. The children of the madrasa trusted him like a father, Walid. If she said anything, would people believe her? "What will I do, Allah?" Hina lifted her hands crying. Meanwhile, Maulana Tariq was pacing in his room restlessly. It was the first time he'd let a girl go so easily. What if she tells someone? He grew worried. Hina might be scared, but will she stay silent? The next morning, with the call of the Fajr Adhan, Hina made a decision. She would not be afraid anymore, but she didn't know. Maulana Tariq was not someone who gave up so easily. He was respected by the entire madrasa. People thought of him as a religious man. If Hina says something, will anyone even listen to her? Maulana Tariq knew very well that Hina would not remain silent. To suppress this matter, he had to do something. He quickly called the madrasa official and said, "There's something serious I need to say about Hina." The person was surprised and asked, "What happened, Maulana Sahab?" Maulana Sahab took a deep breath and with false remorse began to speak. "There is something wrong with Hina's behavior. Last night I found out that she's involved in some wrongful acts. I suspect she's in an improper relationship with someone." Nazim was stunned. How is that even possible? Maulana lowered his head and said, "It is our duty to keep the madrasa environment pure. I'm afraid that because of her, Other girls may also be negatively influenced. We must stop this now. Even Nazim began to suspect. Mawlana had cleverly accused Hina, so that if she spoke up, people would misunderstand her. An allegation was now placed on Hina. After Zuhr prayer, suddenly Hina was called to the madrasa office. When she arrived there, a few teachers were already present. Nazim, in a firm voice, said, "Hina, is there something you'd like to tell us?" Hina, shocked, asked, "What do you mean?" Mawlana said, "What are you trying to say?" Tariq, feigning anger, said, "We all know that your behavior isn't right. We've received reports that you're on the wrong path." Hina couldn't believe it. Her eyes were wide open. "This is a lie. I haven't done anything wrong," she shouted. But many people believed Mawlana's words. Everyone began to look at Hina with suspicion. Now what would happen? Hina's entire world fell into darkness. Now, if she told the truth, people would think of her as the criminal. Would Hina give up? Or would she find a way to fight this lie? Mawlana Tariq's false accusations echoed in Hina's ears. Hina's behavior isn't right. We suspected she was on the wrong path. Her entire body became numb. She could see strange faces all around. Faces looking at her with contempt. She wanted to speak the truth. She wanted to say everything, but no one was ready to listen. Hina's helpless voice trembled. "Why aren't you listening to me?" Mawlana Tariq, with false remorse, said, "Dear, if you've made a mistake, repent. Allah is forgiving, but don't lie." Tears welled up in Hina's eyes. What kind of justice was this? The one who committed the crime was sitting innocent, and the one who was innocent was being accused of the crime. Mawlana's conspiracy was getting deeper. Now the other girls in the madrasa were beginning to hear about it. Whenever Hina approached them, they began to avoid her. Even if they sat with her, people became afraid. In the evening, when she returned to her room, even her friend Shamiha distanced herself. "Hina, I don't know what the truth is, but if Mawlana Sahab said something, then surely there must be some problem." So, even in Shamiha's voice, there was doubt. The ground beneath Hina's feet collapsed. "You too suspect me?" she asked. Shamiha remained silent. Would she now accept defeat? She had two options. Either tolerate this accusation and stay silent, or fight with all her strength to prove the truth. But even if she fought, would anyone help her? Would anyone stand against Mawlana Tariq? Or would she have to fight alone? For Hina, life at the madrasa had become hell. Everyone started to avoid her. Some looked at her with hatred, some whispered in front of her, and some directly insulted her. Girls like this only bring shame in the name of Islam. A religious man like Mawlana Tariq can't possibly lie. Hina now realized that Mawlana Tariq didn't just scare her. He was prepared to destroy her entire honor. That night Hina sat on her bed crying. She kept thinking, what should she do? But then a different kind of feeling began to rise within her. Anger. Why should I stay silent out of fear? I haven't committed any crime. The criminal is Mawlana Tariq. If I stay silent, then he will behave the same way with someone else. There were tears in her eyes, but this time, those tears weren't just of pain. It was the beginning of a fight. The next morning, Hina decided that now she would raise her voice against this oppression. But she knew, just speaking won't be enough. She needed proof. Mawlana Tariq was very cunning. He had already spread lies about her. If Hina said something without proof, then she might even be expelled from the madrasa. Now the question was, how would Hina prove that Mawlana Tariq was the real culprit? Was there any way? Hina decided that she would not leave this battle incomplete. Hina was now ready to fight instead of breaking down, but she knew courage alone wouldn't be enough. She needed to gather evidence. First attempt. Hina first tried to talk to the girls who were once close to Mawlana Tariq. She asked Shamiha, "Have you ever felt that Mawlana Tariq behaves strangely?" Shamiha became a bit scared. "What do you mean? Has he ever tried to touch you inappropriately?" Shamiha instantly went silent. Fear began to show on her face. Voice shift, narrator style. Friends, if you've liked our video so far, then don't forget to give it a like. Back to story voice. Hina realized that Shamiha also knew something. She softly said, "Don't be afraid to tell the truth. If we stay silent, he will behave the same way with other girls too." Shamiha looked around and whispered, "I was always scared to go near him, but I never told anyone." Another proof. Hina was now sure that she wasn't alone, and maybe other girls also knew the truth about Mawlana Tariq, but fear had kept them silent. Now Hina again tried to enter Mawlana Tariq's room. At night, when everyone was asleep, Hina quietly moved towards Mawlana Tariq's room. The door was closed. Some sounds were coming from inside. Now only one is left. Later we'll arrange something for the girl. Hina's heartbeat started racing. Her ears caught the sound clearly. She tried to peek through the crack of the door. Inside, Mawlana Tariq was talking to someone on the phone. "Don't mention Hina. She won't be here much longer. I've already made arrangements." Hina was stunned. That meant Mawlana wanted to get her out of the madrasa. They were plotting. Now Hina was sure that she was right, but she still had no proof. Now what should she do next? Should she ask someone for help? Or try to collect proof on her own? Mawlana Tariq's words echoed in Hina's ears. "Hina won't be here for long. I've made the arrangements." A chill ran through her entire body. Mawlana Tariq was conspiring to get her expelled from the madrasa. But now Hina had also decided that she would not give up. Now it was not just about her honor. It was a fight for justice. Now Hina had to decide how to expose Mawlana Tariq. She had to do something so that not just her, but the entire madrasa could see the truth. At night, when everyone was asleep, Hina slowly reached the corridor of the madrasa. Mawlana Tariq was there. There was a corner where he often spoke on the phone. Hina thought, if she could record their conversation, that would be the biggest evidence. Hina took out her old phone and hid it in that corner, where Mawlana Tariq often stood and talked. She turned on the recording and prayed to Allah that her plan would succeed. In the morning, Mawlana Tariq came there again and began to talk on the phone. From afar, Hina could hear his voice. "The girl won't stay much longer. I've made everyone believe that she is a bad person. Now I just need to make the final move." Hina's eyes turned red with rage. "So he has made full preparations to destroy my life." After Mawlana Tariq left, Hina quickly picked up her phone and listened. Everything had been recorded. Now what will happen? Now Hina had proof. But could she bring it in front of everyone so easily? Would Mawlana Tariq let her do that? Or would he plan another conspiracy against her? Hina's heartbeat was racing. She had the proof. Proof that could expose Mawlana Tariq's reality in front of everyone. But she knew this task wouldn't be easy. After the Fajr prayer, Hina stood outside the large mosque of the madrasa. Girls and a few ustads were coming and going. Then she saw Mawlana Tariq slowly walking in that direction. Hina took a deep breath and quickly stepped forward. She gathered a few girls and ustads and said, "I have something important to tell you all." People were shocked. Some girls started whispering among themselves, but Hina didn't stop. She took out her phone and played the recording. Mawlana Tariq's voice echoed, "The girl won't stay much longer. I've convinced everyone that she's a bad person. Just need to make the final strike." Friends, to get more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel right now and press the bell icon so you never miss an update. Mawlana Tariq, who had just arrived there, felt like he had been struck by lightning. His eyes widened, and he hurriedly said, "This is false. This is all false." But on the faces of the people standing in the crowd, anger was clearly visible. Some girls looked at Hina in fear, and then one by one they started to speak. Mawlana Tariq also behaved strangely with me. He called me alone to his room many times. Mawlana Tariq's condition started to get worse. His lies couldn't hold up any longer, but Mawlana Tariq was not the kind of person to give up so easily. Mawlana Tariq was a very clever man. He knew exactly when, what, and how to say things. Immediately, he signaled to some of his disciples. Suddenly, two men stepped forward from the crowd and shouted, "This girl is lying. These girls are conspiring to insult Islam." An uproar started among the crowd. Some people began to speak in favor of Mawlana Tariq, while others began to support Hina. They were taking sides. Now the question was, would Hina be able to save herself from this conspiracy? Would people accept the truth about Mawlana Tariq? Or would they declare Hina guilty? Would Hina be expelled from the madrasa? Or would she get justice? The commotion outside the mosque grew louder. People were divided into two groups. Some were ready to believe Hina's words, while others were supporting Mawlana Tariq. Mawlana Tariq was shaking with anger. He shouted loudly, "This girl is lying. This is all a conspiracy against me." His disciples were also supporting him. "She has defamed herself, and now she's accusing the Mawlana." But Hina wasn't afraid. She shouted, "If I'm lying, then how is your voice in this recording?" There was astonishment on people's faces. They now began to doubt Mawlana Tariq even more. They became even angrier. They were now ready to give Mawlana Tariq the strictest punishment. Mawlana Tariq's supporters started shouting at each other. "If I'm lying," Hina said, "then swear on the Quran in front of everyone that you have never wronged any girl." Hearing this, the color drained from Mawlana Tariq's face. Then another girl stepped forward from the crowd, Shamiha. There was fear in her eyes, but with courage she said, "Hina is not lying. Mawlana Tariq also tried to wrong me." Now, the expressions on the crowd's faces began to change. More girls stood with their heads lowered. It was a sign that they too were hiding something. Mawlana Tariq was now completely trapped. His breathing became rapid. Even his disciples began to back away. But then, Mawlana Tariq played a terrifying trick. He shouted loudly, "All of this is a conspiracy to trap me. If I've committed any crime, then may Allah punish me right now?" People became frightened. Mawlana raised his hands toward the sky and began to pray. And this began to influence the crowd. What was about to happen now? Would Mawlana Tariq's trick succeed? Would people now misunderstand Hina? Or would someone else's hidden truth be revealed? Mawlana Tariq raised his hands to the sky and shouted, "O Allah, if I have committed any crime, then punish me right now." People got scared. Some bowed their heads and some sank deep into thought. Mawlana's trick was starting to have an effect. Hina knew. If she didn't act now, Mawlana Tariq would once again fool everyone. Because Mawlana Tariq was a very clever man. He could escape from any danger, any trap. He knew such tactics all too well. He looked at the crowd and loudly said, "If none of you still believe me, then ask all the girls of the madrasa." Why not give everyone the chance to speak the truth openly? People looked at one another. Then a girl stepped forward from the crowd. Her name was Ruxana. There were tears in her eyes. With a trembling voice she said, "I can't hide it anymore." Mawlana Tariq did the same to me. Now, the atmosphere had completely changed. Mawlana Tariq couldn't understand what to do. His trick had backfired. Now there weren't 2, but 3 witnesses against him. From within the crowd, someone said, "This man doesn't need to lie anymore. He is a criminal." Another said, "He should be handed over to the law." That was Mawlana's last effort. But still, Mawlana Tariq wasn't ready to give up. He screamed in anger, "You've all gone astray. These girls are lying. If I had done anything wrong, Allah would have punished me by now." Then, suddenly there was a loud noise at the large mosque door. Everyone turned to look. A gust of wind had slammed the door shut. So loud it felt like a powerful hand had closed it. Someone from the crowd, terrified, said, "Look at the sign from Allah. This man is truly a criminal." Mawlana Tariq's face began to sweat. Now what would happen? Would Mawlana Tariq be punished for his crime? Would more girls come forward? Or would Mawlana return with another excuse? Everyone was stunned by the loud noise of the mosque door. People looked at each other, some with fear in their eyes, some with anger on their faces. Mawlana Tariq's condition had worsened. Even his disciples were now afraid. A few minutes ago, those who stood in support of Mawlana were now silent. The wave of truth had begun. Hina looked into Mawlana Tariq's eyes and said, "Will you still deny it, Mawlana?" Then another girl came forward from the crowd. It was Saima. That girl was always afraid. There were tears in her eyes, but today she couldn't stay silent. "I've tolerated a lot too. Mawlana wronged me as well." Now, 4 girls had come forward. "Is there anyone else who wants to speak the truth?" Hina asked loudly. Then 2 more girls stepped forward from the crowd. "We will testify too." And now, the situation had completely changed, but Mawlana Tariq still had no shame. He shouted, "You're all lying. This is a conspiracy against Islam. Satan is misleading everyone." But now, people weren't willing to listen to him anymore. An elderly man stepped forward in anger and said, "Because of scoundrels like you, Islam is in danger. Mawlana, Allah has brought your truth to light." Someone from the crowd said, "Hand him over to the police." Seeing the situation getting worse, Mawlana Tariq tried to escape, but the crowd surrounded him. He had no way out now. Then a madrasa teacher came forward and angrily said, "He should not be spared anymore. If we want to save the dignity of the madrasa, he must be handed over to the law." People caught Mawlana Tariq. Now, what would happen? Would Mawlana Tariq be punished for his crime? Would more girls come forward? Or would a new twist arise? Mawlana Tariq was trapped in the crowd. Everyone was filled with rage, but on Hina's face, there was a strange calm mixed with restlessness. Mawlana Tariq was still trying to break free. "Leave me alone, this is all false," he screamed. But now no one's voice could be heard over the crowd. Hina, Ruxana, Saima, Samiha, and the other girls were now speaking openly. Mawlana Sahib called us to his room. He threatened us that if we spoke up, he would have us expelled from the madrasa. But now, we will not fear the crowd. A commotion started inside. Even Mawlana Tariq's supporters had now distanced themselves from him. Then an elderly man came forward and angrily said, "This man has not only wronged these girls, he has also dishonored the holy month of Ramadan. He must be given a severe punishment." Then, some old documents of the madrasa were brought out. Among them, there were things no one had known until now. Mawlana Tariq had previously changed madrasas in some areas, but his actions had always remained the same. Now, the truth was fully visible. Mawlana Tariq suddenly took the taweez from his neck and threw it to the ground. "Here! If I am guilty, may Allah punish me right now." The crowd paused for a moment, but then Hina pointed her finger at Mawlana and said, "Do not wait for Allah's punishment. Human law also punishes criminals." Then someone came from behind. A police car arrived. One person surrounded Mawlana and handed him over to the police. Now, there was only one question in everyone's eyes. Would Mawlana Tariq receive his real punishment? Mawlana Tariq was put into the police car, but hatred was still clear in his eyes. "You all will suffer the consequences," he shouted. But now his words had no effect on anyone. Hina, Rukhsana, Saima, and the other girls felt free for the first time. They looked at each other and broke down in tears. "We didn't give up. We fought for the truth," Hina said. Even the elders praised their courage. "You all have done a remarkable job. If someone had raised their voice earlier, who knows how many innocent girls could have been saved?" The other teachers of the madrasa were now wondering, what would happen now? Mawlana's name is linked with the madrasa. Would our reputation be ruined? Then an elderly scholar said, "The honor of a madrasa doesn't end because of one man. Rather, if we punish the wrongdoer, its reputation only increases. Now we must purify it." The next day, news came from the police station that many girls had submitted written statements against Mawlana Tariq. When the police investigated deeply, it was revealed that Mawlana Tariq had postings in many city madrasas before, and everywhere there had been allegations against him. But influential people had protected him. This time, that would not happen. Hina and the other girls were now preparing to go to court. "Now we won't back down. We will get him punished." Awareness started spreading among the people. Now in mosques and madrasas, discussions had started that instead of hiding such unfortunate people, we should take action against them. We should raise our voice. Now, what would happen? Would the court give Mawlana Tariq a harsh punishment? Would more girls come forward, or would a new twist arise? Mawlana Tariq was now in prison. He who once took pride in his honor had now become a mere prisoner. The court case was progressing rapidly. Hina, Rukhsana, Saima, and the other girls fought with all their strength. Every testimony, every piece of evidence was exposing Mawlana Tariq's crimes. After hearing the testimonies, the judge looked at Mawlana Tariq and said, "You have exploited innocent girls in the name of religion. You have insulted the name of Allah. All allegations against you have been proven true." The entire courtroom was silent. Then the judge delivered the verdict. Mawlana Tariq is sentenced to life imprisonment. As soon as the verdict was announced, fear began to show in Mawlana Tariq's eyes. "No, I've been framed," he screamed. "I'm innocent." But now his screams were worthless. The officers dragged him away. Tears filled the eyes of Hina, Rukhsana, Saima, and the other girls. But these tears were not of sorrow. They were tears of justice. We did not remain silent in fear, and that is why today we have received justice, said Hina. Now, the madrasa had changed too. Along with education, importance was now being given to the safety of girls. This is a lesson that will always be remembered. This story wasn't just about the punishment of Mawlana Tariq. It was the story of the courage of thousands of innocent girls who raised their voice for truth, and now these voices will never be silenced again. From this incident, we can learn a very important lesson. If someone ever wrongs us, or someone else, we must raise our voice, and people should help one another. Otherwise, it won't take long for this world to be destroyed. If one person comes forward to help another, then this world will be filled with peace. There will be no more sorrow in this world. So always perform the 5 daily prayers. Walk the path of Allah. And live your life according to Islam, and especially live in unity, help one another. So friends, this was our video for today. If you liked it, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you have any opinions about this video, do let us know in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.